This is Dr. David Jubb. Got a really great show for you today. It's all really about what's real versus what's fictional. These are words, of course, that you hear to describe what is more permanent. Real is more permanent, of course. Things which is illusionary is temporary, and could you say, of course, like what is real is you, who is able to have perception, and you're overviewing the perception that you have, and that this is this I. Perception itself could be you just knocking on a door and the perception passing through the house of the knock, but the awareness, of course, is your awareness over perception. So perception itself is just sensation, but awareness really is what's real. You've got the ability, capacity to have awareness over your perception. So perception itself could have been in deep sleep, couldn't it? Your mind could have been, and so you would have just had the perception, mind's a deep sleep, nothing sort of thing. Another state of mind is dreaming, and the other state of mind is wakefulness. Those three states are all very limited, yes, and awareness is over the whole lot. In the past, of course, you had people who cared very much about what is real. Today, of course, you can see a bit of a mess going on, can't you? Yeah, so might we just talk a bit and sort of introduce and talk a bit about this topic? Yeah. So what might a question be at this point for Coyote from the audience? Yeah.
So as you just stated, the world is in a bit of a mess right now, a lot of panic. We're wondering what type of biases might be disturbing people nowadays.
Okay, well, 2022, of course, hasn't been necessarily anything different from the past, because some system's been operating for at least a couple thousand years, yes, and within that, everybody, apparently the state, but everybody's living, looking, and watching what this is. But can the state is real, which is a plural, fictional entity, yes, be able to hear you? Right, you see? Yeah? So lots of things that you and we do could perhaps be in a vein a lot, but not necessarily, because you wouldn't want all those who are suffered to be in vain at all. Absolutely not. And every person is doing something that is about a caredness. But you could see that it's a state which is a state of being. So like you could see your picture in a mirror, yeah? And the image in the mirror is fictional, isn't it? Yes, it is. Sorry about that, but all your thinking is fictional for sure. If you wrote something down on a piece of paper, that's pretty fictional too, isn't it? Because a record is dead, isn't it? And it can't speak, can it? No, it can't. That's right. So intelligence, of course, is you and I realising that the state of paper and things written on a piece of paper, and someone underneath that, fiction. So you and I, we're the living beings, we wrote all of that fiction. That fiction is well below you and I. All live in a society that's put upon by a criminal banking cartel of a one world order, of course, which everyone can see that is ridiculous. It doesn't mean that something is proper, because it'd be better all of us have a proper system. But if you apply a proper system, then we can, can't we? And if you're not internally regulated, which you're not, okay, yeah, because you don't have anything sovereign behind you. Sovereign means we the people. That's your common custom. That's what that means. So can you be common custom? No. You can act in a manner that is of common custom, and all of us together, that's what the word sovereign means. It means your common custom, yes? Right. So can you call yourself a behaviour? No. You're not an idiot, are you? No, you're not. But you're not an addict either, because that's a behaviour. Yeah? The temple that you have is between your ears. All right? That's the temple. And the tabernacle is right in there. And that's you inside. And that's the stone. Did you have to do anything? Was it there already? Yes, it is. It's natural, isn't it? That's what it means. So where somebody said, like, in the past, Solomon's temple was built out of stone, right? It means what? It means that's what was here. It wasn't built out of a brick or anything like that, okay? So mental sets of something is sort of certainly fictional, isn't it? And it's very explicit, but you and I, we have things which is implied, and what's implied is intuitive, isn't it? It's silent. It's still, of course. It's transparent. So what happens where you've got lots of fuss out there, you do trying, it's a trying, isn't it? Massive trying to brainwash. What's the reason for that? Is it really about unity consciousness, or is it about dividing? When you divide, what do? You control, because you've split people. So what happens when a domestic sheep won't jump over a chalk line? A wild animal doesn't see the chalk line, I'm sorry. Something's occurred, hasn't it? Yeah. So you and I, we live in a society where C.B. Cower, criminal banking cartel for a one world order, really isn't we the people whatsoever. Doesn't mean that it's made up out of we the people, it sure is. And these are all people who are striving, caring for something, but a means does not justify the end. No, it doesn't. It is not ethical. Where did you hear anyone use the word room? Yes. You must bring this word in, it's room. And room is the most important word. And room is the word that's redacted from these 5 do it again lies in a region. Some truth exists in all of it, doesn't it? Because something we strive for is intuitive. We care very much about each other, actually. Yes, we do, because we're social. We're instinctively social, that's right. So where you ask people to be in a manner that's not social, it's against your grain. If you're out of cognitive dissonance, then you've not woken up, something's wrong. You've not woken up, somebody is to blame. You've woken up with a new mindset. That's a charge that needs to be discharged. Now, if people have suffered, which they have truly, should it not be that they all be compensated? My God, those who are truly be trod upon, I'm sorry, but like all the people in the Syrian camps, for instance, right? A lot of these are children. You and I, we live apparent. It could be cold where you are, but I'm certain that these are people who are suffered. So let's not have that this year. Let's change that round. Yes? But can you talk to a corpse? No, you can't. A corpse is dead. So how's a corpse hearing? It doesn't. You, the living being, can, but you've to use a system of a livingness, don't you? So if you put everything under something dead, that's not going to work, is it? No, it's not. It's an ecclesiastical condition that you could only join like with like. You put ovoid in ovoid, round in round, of course. Something that's angular like a square, you put that into a square, don't you? Yes, you do. And you would never put something living like a rabbit or a grasshopper or a plant. You wouldn't put that with a pencil, would you? Or a ruler? No, you wouldn't. As a child, you're asked to do these things, and quick, smart, you can list. You put the living things with the living, okay? You do not mix the living up with the dead. Now, you have a mess if you do that. That's not logical, all right? Yes? So you have to be logical, of course. And if it is a truth that the most disturbing thing really is there's no transparency. Plus, you witness massive inconsistencies. Plus, you see a massive no care whatsoever, yes, to go over the science of contagion. Why is that? Why don't you go over the science of contagion if that exists? It hasn't ever shown to exist, but you certainly could have had people drinking out of lead pipes. You could have certainly had people drinking out of pewter cups. You could have certainly had balsamic vinegars and things made with material that was around the wood to keep it together that had lead in it and copper and brass. Is there such a thing as toxicity? Absolutely. Can you defend a toxin? No. No. A toxin is a toxin. Sorry, you cannot defend a toxin. Is something meant to be in your body? Yes, if it passed through natural. Is anything meant to be in your body that came in an unnatural circumstance? No. Did nature make that? Yes, if it did, like a fruit or something, good. But should you take something in which you don't have any DNA for? No. Do you have any DNA to break the death molecule down, which is N-glyconeurominic acid? No. Matter of fact, long before the Genome Project was complete, long before that, it was a valid structure that you could look at to see, matter of fact, that N-glyconeurominic acid was a toxin. Why did pharmaceutical industries care for most things to be produced within a plant-based structure when they were introducing all sorts of things that they did? It's because what? The contaminant was existed in anything that they would have used that came from animal, because it's full of N-glyconeurominic acid. The substance you and I have, which shows us to be plant-based animal, is N-acetylneurominic acid. That's the surfactant. That's vitamin L. You make every vitamin from that. Life hydrate. Are things come to be more corrected as time passes? Yes, it does. And sometimes some things go astray too. But would you say that Henry VIII maybe knew everything what's going on today? No. Plastic and all kinds of things have been introduced, hasn't it? A lot of things, that's right. And other sorts of technology as well. So a shark is alive, honest, still today in the ocean. It's lived over 300 years and, Henry VIII has passed. Things happened since that shark has all been alive in the ocean. 300 years have passed. Is it that a queen bee who lives for 4 years has a consciousness that a worker bee doesn't? A worker bee's only going to live for 4 weeks in the summer maybe, and a queen bee, she could live up to 4 years. The queen, she could have a relation with the beekeeper, couldn't she? Yes, she could. And she can have the emotion of all and have an awareness beyond the worker bee. If only one bank really has remained to run both sides of all conflict, including today's scamdemic, for private concerns to have monopolised. And a monopoly, no one can say a monopoly doesn't exist in media presentation, nor education, nor currency. If you look, you see who's paying the piper, you're seeing the same hand above. The gubernated process, don't you? Yes, you do. So after that, what have you got? I think you've got the same thing which has gone on where people have been pitted against each other wrongfully. Can you say we the people everywhere where you are? I think you should, because if you use it a name, you'd be separating, isolating all of us, honest. But a name needs to be, and it needs to be a proper ID, a real name, not a fictional, legal, untrue name, yes? Because you need to be here as a living being and not regurgitated as what's coming out of a corpse, a corporation. You're from, that's the word, from the land, not of, I'm sorry. That of is obvious that's a corpse. It's a fiction. No one can say a fiction isn't important. The fiction that you have is how you do things, what's silent, what's transparent, and what's still more inside yourself, you see? Yes? Anyway, hope you're enjoying the show. Some things to think about, yes? And we've got some more shows. Maybe we should stick with the topic a little bit of what we're getting onto. Anyway, hope you're having a really great day as you're watching this show. Looking forward to catching up to you in a future show.